Welcome on in, everybody. I've got some more PvP gameplay for you guys today on the PTR and on the live server. This is day 2 of this new patch being on the public test realm, and, well, today I wanted to talk about block and do some testing around it. As you guys know, you can now block ranged attacks, a portion of the damage of ranged attacks on the public test realm, and depending on what weapon you have, two-handed will block 30%, magic weapons will block 40%, and finally one-hand weapons will block 50% of that range damage. In this clip here, you see that the block does work. There are a lot of ranged attacks that I'm able to block. Something to take note here is that because I blocked the Scream, it didn't actually apply the Root as well. So the block situationally could be a very good tool to deal with some abilities that we maybe don't have the best answers to right now. But this leads me to the next thing about the block changes, and as you can see in this clip, I'm very quickly forced to start rolling, and block is not really a viable option for me to stay alive, especially if I have more than one opponent on me. Now that's a big deal because if you're blocking 2 incoming attacks, it will cost you double the stamina as if you were blocking 1 attack. However, if you dodge 2 attacks versus dodge 1 attack, it costs the same amount of stamina. So in short, as there are more opponents on the field with you, you are probably better off rolling instead of blocking. So this means that the new block changes are only super useful for maybe smaller scale stuff or more of an open field environment where you don't have terrain to get behind, because hiding behind terrain is going to be a much better answer to incoming damage than trying to mitigate it and hold still. And building further off of that note, mitigating damage and holding still versus trying to avoid damage. Light armor is not doing well with this block in my opinion because you aren't mitigating a lot of damage anyway. So cutting off 50% of the incoming range damage, sure, that's going to be a big damage cut. However, you are still going to be holding still, and that means that unless you are blocking that situational combo, you likely were better off just rolling in the first place to get to some cover. I think the saving grace of this block change is that when there is no terrain and you're in an open field situation, it gives you a tool that you didn't have before to deal with incoming range pressure. Again, I do think that the heavier armor weights will be able to take much more advantage of these block changes than the light boys, and I kind of think that that's a good thing because light armor is pretty strong already. Its mobility is a huge reason why it can mitigate so much damage. So giving the block tool to heavy armor or making it more effective for heavy armor is probably a better balanced approach. So yeah, in the end, I do like this change, and I think it's something we might need to see them tweak a little more because I'm not sure it is crazy useful in light armor at the moment. But moving on to another point about the block changes, I've seen a lot of videos of people showing off how strong the Sword and Shield and Greatsword blocks are and how well they can shut down ranged opponents on the PTR. That isn't changed from the live server. You can do that on the live server right now. I think maybe the reason that we see so many people using Greatsword and Sword and Shield to block on the PTR at the moment is because there were changes to block, and those are the best blocking weapons in the game. Even though they didn't get those changes, people are just gravitating to it. And yeah, that's the other side of the coin, I guess, is that when the block becomes so effective that you can't deal any range damage to it, is that too much, or is that maybe what Amazon wants? From a balance perspective, I think that dealing with block with certain weapon sets, especially something like Rapier and Fire Staff, is very hard because you do almost no stamina damage to a blocking opponent. So if your opponent can mitigate damage like that against you, it becomes almost impossible to kill them without putting yourself in a very risky situation going for Rapier heavy attacks or something like that. So yeah, really interesting change, really interesting to see what people are doing with the block, and I would love to hear what you guys think about this particular change, because I myself as a light armor player like it, but didn't find it crazy useful for my playstyle. Anyhow, let's get into that PvP commentary. This is on the live server, and I'm playing some Fire Staff and Rapier, my favorite weapon set in the game to play. I've got a link to this build down below if you guys want to check it out. And me and Ace Bully, he's playing a bow build. We are hanging out inside the enemy outpost here, doing our best to keep it blue. We did manage to flip it, which is awesome. And we fought our way in here and got quite a lot of kills getting in here too. So far the fight has been going pretty good, but these guys are sending reinforcements in. I eat a really nasty combo from the hammer player there, so I'm kind of forced to retreat. But that's okay. I ended up killing the ghost outside anyway, which is probably a good thing in case I drop down that side. And it looks like Ace has retreated out the other side of the outpost too. So as soon as I come in here, they all converge on me. I actually take quite a lot of pressure, managed to get the burnout as I'm dropping off the edge. So nice smooth transition there. It looks like one guy followed me, right away dumped the fireball on him, and then get behind him. And it looks like I'm getting shot at by an archer from behind here as well. Get to my tree for a little bit of cover. And this will help a lot. The blunderbuss player, I have to be careful because he has a lot of burst, and I don't want to get caught with his hammer combo. And there you see a good dodge. I'm knowing that combo is coming. I managed to get a good call there, and I get him with the burnout for some decent damage, but I am getting shot up by that archer as well. So I'm just hugging this tree pretty hard. It looks like Ace has gone to the other side here. I like this because he has so much distance from the group and himself. So in this particular situation, see how he picks the kill of the low health player off very nicely. They're all focused on me, and that is absolutely perfect. Seeing them head back to Ace, right away jump on top of this guy with the fire staff, and he turns around and follows me again. Big damage with the flourish and finish. I forced that guy to back up, and Ace just missed his heavy attack shot, so we were not able to seal that kill. And Ace manages to slip out using the Rapier. And I'm just keeping the pressure on these hammer guys. Rapier versus hammer, man. I'll be totally honest. If you are fighting against a hammer with Rapier and he's beating you, it's because you're doing something wrong. Rapier's so good against hammer. And I do manage to get that kill with the fire staff as he's trying to retreat there. And me and Ace both being so aggressive, we walk right into this guy's combo because we're trying to finish him off. The second player comes in here. Looks like he had healed up or respawned, and we managed to just avoid the ultimate there too. And I turn towards the blunderbuss and hammer player. This one here, I want to keep my eye on. Like I said earlier, his burst is very scary. I don't want to get caught in it. And look at how squishy he is. You know that if he lands that combo, it's going to hurt. I just about get the kill. I ended up missing the fireball at the end, so he ends up surviving. And then a nice burnout through, and somehow he manages to survive as well. So we don't get the kill on him there. And this is a dangerous spot. Very low on stamina. What ends up being the saving grace here is lots of direction changing. While I was gassed, I just constantly changed directions, and then once my stam was back up, again, lots of direction change. Big damage off of that cannon, and I'm just going to retreat a little bit, go into that burnout. Fire staff, man, if you want to get the burnout, you don't want to leave yourself susceptible, so I like to go to a roll cancel on the burnout almost every single time. And it looks like Ace managed to pick off another kill on one of these guys, and now it's just the last one left. We're going to put a little bit of backstab damage into him. He's starting to heal it up. He throws down the panic hammer blast, and look at that! From behind, this guy's coming in for the gank. I do see the incoming grenade, though, so I managed to avoid the combo, and managed to avoid all the hammer stuns as well. And this tree, man, has been my best friend this whole fight. Really nice stuff, and I go through the group here, and again, yeah, lots of direction changes. Forcing people to turn around, especially melee players when they're constantly chasing you, is such a good way to mitigate that damage and open up opportunities for yourself offensively. And as you can see, the one hammer player there, he has given up trying to kill me. It's been a while of him fighting me, and I don't think he's gotten much good success. He does actually come right back, though. Look at that, and he's throwing his maelstrom down as well. I just managed to slip through it, and that direction change. All I have to do is roll behind these guys, and it makes it very hard for them to stay on top of me. There's that stagger into the stun. Really well timed by them. I did see the grenade right at the last second, so the flesh doing a great job just clearing me from that AoE damage. And I try to burn out through. Great job from the hammer player to hit me with the stun as I'm winding up the burnout. If you're fighting a fire staff player with hammer, that is exactly what you want to do. And just in general, if you see the fire staff player winding up that burnout, that is your opportunity to drop a stun at your feet, because he's likely going to come right through you. And yeah, I'm doing a good job just trying to mitigate the damage and kite these guys out. At the end of the day, though, it's a little bit too much pressure. And Ace had actually gone down as well, so I'm finally all by myself here. Yeah, I think in this situation, if I really wanted to not die, retreating would have been the way to go, because I do have these guys outsped if I do want to try to run away, but you guys know me, I am just way too stubborn. I have to keep fighting until I'm dead. And they finish me off. One last fun tidbit for you guys as well. The rewards from the PvP tracks seem to be way better than they used to. Look at these gold items. It's not just me. I've seen screenshots of other people's PvP reward tracks on the PTR. If this is what the future of reward tracks look like, oh my god, gearing up for PvP is just getting easier and easier. And being able to gear through PvP for PvP is probably one of my favorite things about this game. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that gameplay, and I hope that you guys have some cool opinions about this block. I would really love to hear your thoughts on it, because I know that I just play a very specific style. So for me, my interpretation of it is going to be based off of the style that I play. Heavy armor boys out there, medium armor boys, what do you guys think about this block change? And have you been on the PTR? Does it actually help your build? And have you found situations where it is very beneficial for you? That's a lot to say in this video, I know guys, but thank you so much again for tuning in and watching. If you want to catch me live, there's a link to my Twitch down below. If you want to send in a clip for the New World Top 5, you can send that to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com. Best of luck to you guys. And of course, this build and so many more on my website, written guides, pvpnewworld.com. Feel free to check that out. A big thank you to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. They help keep you safe on the internet, and you can get a sweet deal with your first purchase thanks to that link down below. And last but not least, a massive thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon for supporting the show. Whether you've supported in the past, whether you're supporting now, thank you everybody so much for being a part of this and keeping the show going. Thank you everybody again just for tuning in and watching. I hope to see you all next time, and have a great night everybody.